All right, welcome to Talking Toxic with Chelsea. I'm your host, Chelsea, and this is my guest, my self-aware narcissist by the name of Lee Hammock. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I chose to have you on because I help other victims, other survivors of narcissistic abuse recover. And I've talked with people for years, try to help them get out of the situation, identify a narcissist, prevent being with a narcissist, listen to your red flags when you see them. But so many people have so many questions directly towards a narcissist. And when I found you on TikTok, and then my algorithm found you on every other social media you're on, you were rolling, and everything that I've been taught by my therapist and everything I've been taught reading books and you just verbalize it in 10 seconds. And it's like, even though I'm not a fan of narcissists, I'm a big fan of yours because I think what you're doing is extremely helpful. And I think that it's great that not all narcissists can really settle with themselves and be able to verbalize and understand who they are. So my burning question is, what made you decide to do this, and how did you even get diagnosed?
So I've been in therapy since 2017. So it's coming up on 3.5, coming up on 4 years here, close to the summer and whatnot. I don't know, it's just been a ride. Like, I've been talking mental health and about my own personal mental health on Facebook and to my friends and family for years, since like 2018, 2019 and things like that. I've actually had an old YouTube channel where I was trying to, do the mental health videos to let people know about narcissistic personality disorder, that I was personally battling it, and and things like that. I actually used to do it on I have 2 Instagrams. So my own personal Instagram.
I found you. I stalked you all that.
Yeah. I have my other Instagram or whatever. I was doing it on that channel, but like that Instagram is just full of my friends and family. So those people don't care to share it. It's not, it's not really going to take off. I need some kind of, I need some kind of affirmation, and I'm not doing this for anything. So I was doing YouTube and getting 3-4 views. I was like, oh my goodness, for an hour video, so it's kind of annoying. But then, I've found Gary Vaynerchuk, I listen to a lot of motivational stuff, and Gary Vaynerchuk is like, get on TikTok. TikTok is a video site, blah, 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 blah. I was like, let me get on TikTok. So I started my own personal TikTok for just comedy and skits and just being myself.
Like we all did for pandemic.
Then I was like, you know what? I can transition to mental health on here as well. So I did a couple mental health videos on my regular TikTok, but it didn't work. It didn't feel right doing that and combining it with the comedy, because I think people will get confused. Right. So I started the mental illness account on May 19th of last year. And from that very first video, it's just kind of, taking off. I have a lot of support, a lot of quite a few detractors, and, but
what made you come to that? Like, knowing narcissists, they think they're fine. There's nothing, like, how are you battling it? Like, that's what a lot of people wonder. Like,
so my therapist told me I have a huge superiority complex, and my superiority complex just happens to be focused on other narcissists. So I was in, like, before I went to therapy, I was in a bunch of narcissistic, narcissistic personality disorder groups for people who have been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, or people who thought they had it, So I joined a few of those groups and things like that, and those people in those groups, they helped me. Like, I felt at home in those groups. I was just like, I can verbalize. I can
like the support groups.
Yeah, it's like I'm not by myself, because when you get diagnosed, you feel like you're by yourself. You're like, you see the numbers, like the statistics, like 1%. I'm like, well, 1 in 100, something like that. Yeah, I know it's the numbers are skewed, whatever. But like,
there's a lot more than they say there are.
Yeah. But when I see that though, in 2017, I'm seeing it. I'm just like, so in a room of 100 people, it's just me with this. So you feel I have an overwhelming feeling of like aloneness. So, getting in those groups and seeing other narcissists talk and like going through their experiences, I'm like, oh, so that's why I do what I do. It's just like, you feel like you have a group of people, but eventually, my narcissist brain kicked in. I was like, you know what? I'm better than so many of these people. Like some of these people are bad. Like I'm not a bad person. Some of those people in those groups they've been diagnosed. They like being narcissists to the point where they use it as an excuse for their bad behavior. I was like, I'm not a bad person. I'm like, I'm better than a lot of these people. So I left those groups because I didn't think that those groups would understand what I was going to try to do. I was like, I'm going to try to, go mainstream with this because nobody else is doing it.
Right.
And from that point on, I was just like, I'm gonna be the only narcissist doing this, self-aware narcissist. And I was like, out here, maybe I can change some lives and help people and get my affirmation I'm looking for at the same time. And literally, it just went that way. I just literally it started off as me wanting to not feel alone and make other people feel like other people dealing with the person I did disorder feel like they weren't alone either. Like, you're not alone dealing with this. Like,
We're totally, my groups and the groups I was in as a victim. And then as I grew, I had my own groups to help other people grow and recover. And it's kind of the exact opposite. You were in groups with all the narcissists that were doing these things to my people. Oh, your people and my people. We're on different, but doing the same thing. We all feel alone, but yet we seek and we get validation in these groups that we're not alone. And we realized how many people on both sides that this has affected. But a lot of people have asked me 2 times, what made you seek therapy? Because most narcissists won't even seek. Or in my example, me and my ex went to 5 different, and he went just to say, check that box. Oh, he went to therapy, but he didn't do any work. He doesn't want to do the work. So they want to know, what made you go to therapy, and what diagnosis did you, because there's several types of narcissists. I can tell just by talking to you what type you are, but not everybody else does. So do you know what type you were, and what brought you to therapy?
So what brought me to therapy was like, there wasn't one, it seems like there was one singular event. When I do my videos, I like, my wife called me a narcissist and I looked it up and things like that. But it just wasn't that though. That was one of the main catalysts that made me wanted me to go to therapy and realize, but like my life in a nutshell was like caving in on itself. I'm like coming from a small town. I was very athletic. I was smart. I'm like, I'm supposed to go to school. I'm supposed to play the NFL or the NBA or something like that. And when those dreams don't start to pan out, you kind of look like, am I a failure? Like, why am I not famous? Like, I should be famous right now. This is I should be famous. I was 18, 19 years old. I should be famous right now. So I'm 185 pounds in high school. So I ended up like going to like it wasn't severe depression, but it's like self-defeating for years. I didn't go to school I didn't go to college right after high school. I gained 100 pounds. So I got up to 287 pounds, So I was fat, out of shape. I was fat, uneducated, of failure pretty much. Like, how am I a failure right now at 25 years old, whatever, So that table with, like I said, not meeting my own personal expectations, table with my wife's unhappiness and things like that. And it's just it was like a self-destructive spiral that just happened to detonate that night in 2016, 17. It's been so long. Can't think the exact date, but those days don't resonate with you. But like one night, like she was like at work or whatever, and I had how old was he? 6, 7 months old. My son was like screaming and crying. I was like, oh my God, like this is why I'm blaming my son, like this is why I can't be successful. I don't have any time to myself, he's screaming and crying. I was like, I can't focus on anything about myself because I got crying ass babies, I'm screaming and yelling at my son. And she just happened to get off work early that night and come in on the screaming. So she comes in on me screaming at my son. I'm screaming at her, blah, blah, blah. It's going back and forth,
You're screaming at a 6-month-old?
Oh yeah, I was yelling. The rage screaming. Yeah. It's great. I'll be keeping it real, if I don't keep it real, it's not me, so like I'm rage screaming at a 6-month-old, and I was like, it's just hard living in this damn house and nobody appreciates me, blah, 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 this. And she was like, well, it's so hard living with a narcissist. I was like, huh? I just think.
Did she just throw that term around? Because I know that term and gaslighting has become such an amazing, or just a term that people throw around, and I can't stand it. Did she actually know you were a narcissist, or did
Yeah, I
she
think she
find
had
out
been doing some research or something like that. I think her aunt had
people
dealt with
lying in her ear?
similar situations. Yeah, so she kind of knew what it was. But I don't know what this is 2000. This is 4 years ago, so I don't know what narcissist. I think narcissist, like in my brain, is just somebody that's full of themselves. Somebody that's conceited. So like,
Kind of, yeah, grandiosity.
yeah, if anybody, it's like if anything, you are a narcissist. Like I help people. Like I'm there for people. I'm not full of myself. Like, am I confident? Yes. There's a reason I'm confident. Blah blah blah. This. So she leaves, whatever, and I'm super inquisitive. So I get on Google. I'm on Google, googling like why the hell. I'm like, why does she specifically call me that word? Of all the words she could call me, she shows. She's a white woman. Like she could call me a different N word. She called me narcissist. So I'm like. So like I get on there and Google like autofill stuff and it pops up and like I'm typing in narcissist like personality disorder. I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, huh? So I'm click and it's like symptoms and signs, all this type of stuff. And it's just like I was spending the whole night reading and I was like, what in the hell? Like this really me? Am I an evil bastard?
Describe you?
Yeah, describe it, yeah, perfectly. I'm just like, damn, I'm like,
Perfectly. I love it. I love your
like,
honesty.
Jesus, so I'm telling her, I was like, I looked it up, I didn't know all this stuff. Just come home, I'll go to therapy, I'll get some help, whatever. I'll go to therapy, and then she came home, and I didn't go to therapy for a while, and then had another blow up, and I ended up like, okay, I'll schedule the therapy appointment, and then therapy from that point forward. I was like, okay, I'm going to, and I'm checking the box. I'm going to therapy. I was like, let me challenge myself because I listened to so much.
You were checking, you were going because you told your wife you'd go to therapy, and you just
I was going to
go.
check the box. Like I went,
Mm-hmm.
But I listened to so much like motivational stuff. I'm listening to Tony Robbins and all this other stuff. I'm listening to so much motivational stuff like Zig Ziglar and like, I'm Jim Rohn. Everything's
I got all the books over there.
Yeah. So just like challenge yourself to be better. Like, so I'm sitting in the therapist's office. Like, you know what? Don't go ahead and BS. Like, challenge yourself. Like, go ahead and be honest. Let's see what happens. I go in there and I was like, I'm sitting here. I'm nervous. It's not like you see therapy on TV. You think you're gonna lay in the therapist's chair.
Yeah, lay in the bed, lay in the couch.
Yeah, it's like a school chair.
In a chair.
Yeah. A chair with no back, like a stool in there. You're like, okay, this is not as comfortable as I thought it was gonna be.
Uh-huh.
But I went in there and the first thing, like, she's like, why are you like at 31 years old? Like, why are you here? And I just busted out crying, like
Crying.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions people ask me. If you've ever cried, or do you ever cry?
Yeah, so this is in 2017 when I went to therapy. Like the first, like I went from 1999 to 2016 without crying. So that's
I saw one of your, what was that?
Yeah, I did a YouTube video on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just like an overwhelming sense of like, I don't know, it's just like I'm sitting in that chair and then like, because you get on Psychology Today to find a therapist and like you look up therapists specific to narcissistic personality disorder. So that's how I found my therapist.
I tell people look up cognitive behavioral therapists because that's
so. But I got specific because I knew what I was. I was like, I'm gonna get specific.
I love it. You Google diagnose yourself, said I'm getting therapy, and that's a rare thing.
I'm smart, I'm like I know what I have. I don't need don't tell me anything else. I know what I have.
So did they diagnose you with a specific type of narcissist?
No,
because you have malignant, you have covert, you have overt. There's.
I'm more.
And then you have a sociopath, which you clearly are not.
Yeah, so I'm more covert than anything.
Right.
I'm like the covert narcissist that people.
You like admiration. You like to be complimented. You like to be. I'm just told that you're good.
Yeah, I achieve my goal. Like the thing I've noticed between malignant and covert narcissists, the big difference is like we have the same goals. We just go about achieving them differently.
Right.
Like I like to achieve my goals like silently, but like it's still kind of grandiose at the same time. Like.
Well, malignant narcissists are not even functional. They can't handle. They cannot run a family load. They can't run a business.
One of my best friends is a malignant narcissist. Like we, so
they can't function properly.
Yeah, our dynamic is fun. It's just like.
God, I'd love to be a fly on that wall.
Yeah, well, we've had long talks about this because he's like, we were like partying one night. He was like, we ended up leaving the party early, and we just like sitting in his house. I was in a girl was in there arguing with her boyfriend. She's like, "You're such a narcissist." You know, I'm like, I'm a narcissist. You know, we got to talking. She was like, "What?" And we got to talking, and then my friend was just like, "Yeah, if I watch your videos, I'm 100% a narcissist too." So me and him started going back and forth. It was a good conversation. Where we stayed up to like 5 o'clock in the morning just talking.
Talking about who's a better narcissist.
Yeah, I'm me. Yeah.
Of course, duh.
I'm out there. You know, I'm in the public eye. Like somehow people look at me as the consummate bad guy. You know, like I'm the like Magneto. You know.
Yeah. Well, for some people, I mean, those survivors, victims, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Really go through some shit. Like you said, some people are really disgusting and thrive off of it.
100%.
Love it. So, which is why I wanted to do this with you, because you were honest and candid about it. And some of the questions that people have, I know you'll give them straight up answers.
Yeah.
Other narcissists will try to just make it about them. Yeah. And I really appreciate the candidness.
I've reeled it back a little bit more because, you know, talking to people, when I first started my TikTok, I was just straight out there. You know, I was just like, "Hey, my name is Lee. I have narcissistic personality disorder. There's nothing wrong with that. Here it is, this." And people were like, there's a lot of people like, "Oh my God, I've never seen this before. You help." You like, wow, this is my first video. So I'm like, I don't know which direction this is going in. I'm like, and then I get the people that's on there just like, "You are a danger to society." I'm like, what? Like, you don't know me. Like, but like, it's just like, it's hard to process. Like, cause me personally, I want everybody to like me. I can't control it. People's like, "Don't worry about other people's opinion." Like, I can't help it. Like, I have to. I worry. You know, it's just like I can't turn that worry off. If I could, I would. You know,
right?
I get 100 positive comments, and the one negative comment I get bugs me. I'm like, why you? You know, like, what can I do to change your mind?
Never read the comments.
Yeah, like what can I do to change your mind? But like, that's TikTok though. But like TikTok, you have to, like, a lot of my stuff comes from reading the comments and responding to it. You know.
Well, yeah, that's how a lot of I get my content or ask questions. You know, people comment in my groups and whatnot, and that's, oh, okay, they want to talk and learn more about this, so we'll talk about this.
So negative comments have went that, like, I still get them here and there, but like they've gone down as my page has grown, you know.
Yeah, because I think people are more interested in what you have to say, not so much who you are.
Yeah.
And they see the difference.
Yeah.
So what made you start doing that? I mean, just finding that you recognize who you are and you want to show other people that it's okay, and that you just wanted to let other people know that not all narcissists are bad. Like, what?
So like I said, the first goal was to just, you know, because when I first got diagnosed and I was in therapy, I was like, I felt alone. You just, like I said, you see like the same thing that the empath and the survivors and the victims see, like, I see, you know. And there's like no positive literature on narcissistic personality disorder. So when you get on there and you Google it, you see 100% negative stuff. You're like, what? So I have to, you know, so I feel like I was relegated to be a bad person. I was like, I don't think I'm a bad person. I was like,
you wanted to challenge that and show that you could be.
I was like, I don't feel like I have to be a bad person because I have this disorder. You know, I was like, so let me, like, I don't like say I have a problem with authority. So I'm not gonna let you tell me what I can and can't do. You know, so I'm like, let me go out here and prove this to the world, like, at least to my friends. You know, I know my friends are not gonna share my posts. You know, so I'm like, I'm at least prove to my friends that I can be a good narcissist. You know what I mean? So I started sharing my little videos on Facebook first, and they get no traction. You know, people, your friends don't care. They're like, "Oh, we know him." Like, you just, you know, like,
there's that narcissist talking about himself again.
Yeah, it's like, we expect this from you. You know, so I try to get on YouTube. I try to do it on Instagram. It just doesn't take off. Like, if you see my podcast go all the way back to 2019. You know.
Well, it's funny you say that, because as I was literally starting to drop this podcast the day I was having my logo made. I was writing out my first episode, which is just a description. That's when I saw you, like, all on the same day. And then it looked like to me that you dropped a podcast like the same day. It was International Women's Day last Monday. And that's the day I wanted to drop it.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, my God, he's beating me to dropping a podcast over this. And that's what I was like, wait, So I dropped mine the next day because I, long story short, adopted a dog last minute, like rescued a dog. And
Yeah.
wasn't able to drop it as soon as I wanted to. So I did the next day. And that's when I reached out to you. And I'm like, wait a second, this can work. Like he can explain to my people how it is, how it works. And then if there's any victims or survivors that he listens to, needs some recovery, we can kind of like help each other out, help our people out. So I posted in a couple of these groups, I'll pull them up now, a couple of questions. And one of them was funny. I said, I'm having an interview for my new podcast with a self-aware narcissist. Do you have any questions you want me to ask? And after a couple went through, somebody posted a screenshot of your bio and said, this is a self-aware narcissist. You should listen. And I'm like, that's who I'm interviewing. So everybody started like, oh, ask him this. He hasn't. I have a million questions, but I kind of went through because a lot of them are redundant.
Yeah.
Or kind of have the same answer. So one person asked, do they get physical feelings as they're doing different forms of abuse? Like when you see your wife cry, like when you're purposely hurting her, they want to know, like, do you feel anything?
It just depends on the situation. Like, why am I doing it? You know, it's like, the way my brain works, I used to justify screaming and yelling at her and stuff like that, you know. And people, you know, I don't know, it's more control than anything. Like once you exert your feelings of control and rage and you doing all this screaming and yelling and stuff like that, the feeling you get is like, I don't know, it's arousal. I used to get aroused. You know, I just like, okay, now I want to sleep with her. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know.
Yeah, so you want to get off on it.
Yeah, it's like a power trip now. You're like, now I'm in a real power trip. And now I want to sleep with her. You know, it's just like, I don't know. Especially
so much of my past.
Especially when she would yell and scream back at me. You know, it's like, you know, it's just a super turn on. Like it's like an aphrodisiac. You know, just like a reactive abuse is like an aphrodisiac. When like you yelling and screaming at me, it's just like, I don't know, it's just like
it's a turn on.
It's a turn on, yeah. It's literally.
And that's how people get trauma bonded, because you're going through this awful like argument, and then you turn around and you end up having sex.
Yeah, and it ended up being good sex. So now you just like you can.
Now you're really fucked.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally, yeah. So yeah, it would like feel like power control. And I asked my therapist about that, like, why do I get turned on and stuff like that? Because like she's like, you went like, it's just my defense mechanisms when I was little, when I was younger or whatever. Like you felt like you weren't heard enough when you were little. Like you weren't like nobody would listen to you or whatever. So when you're yelling and screaming, you're in control and people are listening to you, so you get aroused, like arousal. You just get turned on from that feeling, like old childhood stuff. It's like it's deeper. It's so deep.
Which this kind of ties right into the next question. It says, why aren't they willing to hear their damaged inner child for the sake of living more loving, fulfilled life? A lot of new studies are finding, like my recent therapist, my same therapist, but I just recently saw her, just told me when I first started seeing her several years ago, she told me, you know, most narcissists have childhood trauma, basically. And it made sense to my ex. I know what happened to him when he was 2-3. It made total sense. But she's now saying that there's some recent studies, like in Sweden and other countries around there, that it could be genetic and you could be born with it. So I have a little indifference to this question, because you might not have had a childhood issue. It might just been genetic. But they want to know, why aren't they willing to hear their damaged inner child for the sake of living more of a fulfilled life? But it sounds like you are, specifically you.
Yeah. So I still don't, you know, the whole inner child thing is like, I really don't know. You know, I feel like my inner child is still damaged. I feel like it's still trying to speak through me, because like little me, you know, because I don't, like I said, I've said this like in my podcast and stuff like that, but like I don't have any memories before I turned, like before 7 years old. Like it was kind of all blank. It's like a blank slate. And I just woke up at 7, and my first memory is like my dad hitting me in my leg. You know, it's just like, this is a first memory I can literally first memory I can think of right there. And from that point forward, I was like, nobody would ever be able to harm me again like this. You know, I like somebody you're supposed to care for and love, they can hurt you. Or like, So if you don't love and care for people, they can't hurt you. It's like you don't let people, if people can't get too close to you, they can't hurt you. So like my whole life I've been like keeping people at an arm's distance. So you don't, I give you enough information to be friendly and to get to know you and things like that, but like not enough information to be able to hurt me or harm me or like desecrate my reputation, you know.
Yeah.
And then like to answer the whole like genetic or is it trauma, like I think like with me it could, like I think it's trauma based and whatnot, but like when I started digging a little deeper, because like my dad wasn't in my life, you know, my first memory is him hitting me, but like I don't have many other memories with him. But his dad wasn't in his life. So I was like, is it passed down to be a bad father? You know, I was like, this can't be it. So I got on, because I didn't meet my grandfather, my paternal grandfather. I didn't meet him. So, you know, I got on ancestry.com one night just being curious, like, maybe so I can find him, you know. So I got on there, I found my grandma, I found my dad, and I didn't know my grandpa's name. So, you know, like, how do you fill in this blank? It just so happened my grandpa and my grandma got married. So I found his name. I was like, yay, you know. There's a block. I know his name. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I know his name. So like, my lineage is clicking together. You know, I was like, so when did he die? So I'm getting on there. The only thing they had on there is like his death certificate. You know,
Your dad?
so no, my grandpa's.
Oh, your grandpa.
My grandpa's death certificate. I was like, so he's dead. I knew he was dead, but I didn't know when he died, anything like that. So he happened to die. He died when my dad was 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old. So I'm like, okay, like, that kind of makes sense why you would be like, your dad abandoned you, so I get it. You know, you might want to abandon your kids. So, you know, okay, I get it. It's not cool, but, you know,
you get it.
I get it. But then I look at the cause of death, like suicide. Like he shot himself in the head. Like he went down at 5:30 on a Monday morning, went downstairs while his wife and kids were in home sleep, and shot himself in the head in the bathroom at 5:30 on a Monday morning.
Wow.
So, you know, wake up, your dad wakes up and sees that, like an 8-year-old, 7-year-old wakes up and just find their dad's shot in the head. So yeah, they could have caused him some stuff to go on right there, and they could have, you know, trickled down to me, you know.
Yeah, sure. And
I had, like I said, my superiority complex, it kicks in. Like, I'm not gonna be like them. Like, this cycle ends with me. I'm gonna be a present father. You know, I'm not gonna abandon my kids and stuff like that. So it's a challenge.
That's cool. And you are a present father. You don't pretend to be a present father.
No. So I got a 12-year-old. You know, I've always been in his life.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I have a child with my ex as well, and it's more of a show and tell type of thing. Like, yeah, I'm the best dad. Okay, see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I get that too. I got a couple friends like that.
Yeah. So another question is, I got to know, this is what they say, I got to know the burning truth. Do they feel any type of sadness or regret when they actively know they're manipulating you?
Sadness and regret when they are manipulating you? No, there's no, you're not sad. You just like, it's a game. Right. You like,
it's like fun.
It's like fun, yeah. Like if I can move this chess piece and checkmate her while I'm telling this huge elaborate ass lie, then it's like literally winning a trophy in your head. You're like, she got all this proof, and now I just literally talked her off of the ledge, and I'm good now. And then like, what else can you do? So it gets worse from there. Like once one lie precipitates, you try to, once one manipulation goes through, you want to see what else you can do. You're like, what else can I do? You know.
Yeah, and like I tell my victims, the more you take and the more you tolerate, the more they're gonna dish it out. It's kind of like you like it. You stay.
We think you like it. You're like,
okay.
Do you not like that? You know, it's like you've been here 10 years. Like, what? Do you not like it?
Yeah, you must like it because you've been here 10 years.
Yeah. So it's just like it's kind of it's weird, but like that's just how the brain works. You know, like this is.
Yeah. Well, I'll save this one for the next one, but this next one says, why do they fear reality? What makes them take on different personalities instead of wanting people to like them for who they are? I don't think this person understands the narcissist, because you don't take on different personalities. You are who you are.
So this is my explanation for this right here. I feel like right now, who I am right now, is actually an accumulation of the personality traits that I've seen in people that I liked or I was jealous of. Like if I'm jealous of something that you do, I need to be able to do that. Like when I was 25 years old, I remember I was at the beach when I was 25 years old and fat, and one of my friends was getting all these girls because he had a nice body. I was like,
I want a nice body.
I'm going to do that. You know,
And better than him.
one of my other friends was like getting girls who had money. It was like, I'm going to do that. You know, I remember being little, like reading Cosmo magazines, like, how do I get girls to like me? How do I get people to like me? Nobody can like this mess of me. I reading Cosmo magazine in the bathroom, like women like funny people. Like, I can be funny.
That's the best read men can read is women's magazines to understand women.
I can be funny. I can be hilarious, you know.
Well, somebody wants to know if you've ever loved anyone in your life. This is a huge question I get a lot because a lot of people feel like you can love somebody, but not the extent as a normal human being.
What is the extent of a normal human being, though? But so that's the question I always ask people. Like, when people's like, can you love? Like, they asked me that on CBS. It's like, can a narcissist really love someone? I was like, what is love? You know, like, what is your definition of love? Because I feel like love is subjective to that person. Love is just subjective to who you are and what you represent and what you feel like love really is. Like, I feel like the difference between a narcissist love and I guess a normal person's love is like narcissistic love is like extremely conditional. There's a lot of conditions that comes with the love from a narcissist. Like,
well said.
If you violate one of those conditions, the love is like completely turned off. It's like not, and then like we'll give you chances and stuff like that to get it back a little bit. That's where the breadcrumbing comes in. Like,
that's where the controlling and the
I'm gonna give you a little bit of love today. See if you can act right. You know, it's just silliness. You know, but like that's literally. Yeah, you get some sprinkles today, you know.
Right. So, which brings me to this, because this is like 3 different people in a row, and I know the answer to this. I've heard you explain this. I actually screen recorded your answer and posted this in my support group, and I think it's on one of my first descriptions or my Q&A. I played the recording of this answer. But for those who have not listened and those who have never heard or seen him or me, the burning question is, can you fix a narcissist?
So,
explain it.
So you cannot fix a narcissist, like point blank. You can't fix them. Like, I've been in therapy for almost 4 years. Like, I don't consider myself fixed because like I'm still 100% a narcissist. Like, therapy hasn't cured me. Therapy has helped me with, you know, trigger control, help me, you know, impulse control, help me to be less erratic, you know, help me to be, I guess, try to find my own personality, my own way in life, to stop worrying about being somebody else, being like somebody else, and start actually being who I guess I am internally. And that's the burden a lot of people try to take. Like, that's one of the things, like when I first started my TikTok, a lot of people kept coming to me like, you giving too many people hope that they can change their narcissist. And like, a lot of people
reading it wrong.
Huh?
Those people are listening to it. They're hearing what they want to hear because you state you can't change a narcissist.
Yeah, I say it all the time. But then like people think, I mean, like I said, people like you can't tell me what you like me. You can't tell me I can't do something. You know, like watch me. You know, so people take on that burden of trying to fix a narcissist. That's one of the questions I get. I get it so much, and then like people want to ask my wife how did you like tame him? Like, and people start feeling like less of a like. I think my wife sometimes makes people feel like when they start comparing themselves to my wife because how aware I am and how I talk and how I act and stuff like that, they start thinking that it's something about themselves that they lack, that they can't get their narcissist to change. It's like, what does she have that I don't? That I can't get him to change. I can't get him to see the error of his ways. It's like, it's not like she was one of the catalysts to help me get to the point where I am now. But like so much other stuff had to happen for me to get here. Mm-hmm. It wasn't one thing. Like, I've had people call me names before. I can get over a name call. I can call you a name right back. It's just a specific name that got on my nerves. I'm like, what? Huh? Why this? You know, I'm like, why specifically this word? You know, so. But
the bottom line is you can't fix it. What I tell people, it's like trying to tell someone who's gay to go to therapy to convert.
Yeah.
You can't fix it. It's not fixable. It's their chemistry. It's their body makeup. It's who they are. But like you say, you can go for maintenance for yourself.
Yeah, it's a disorder.
it's a disorder.
It's a disorder. Like, and people.
It's not a cold. It's not the flu.
I think people take it disrespectful sometimes. You tell them that you can't fix a narcissist. Like, you can't fix him. But I love him so much, you know, like. And you love him so much that you start to lose yourself. You mean, you start giving so much of yourself to try to fix this person that you break yourself.
And then you forget what's proper and what's real and what's tolerable and what's acceptable. And then you forget self-love and what's acceptable to just have someone even speak to you that way. Like I totally get where you're coming from. So this, and because a lot of these questions are pretty much the same, I got a direct message and she says, I can't wait. This may seem stupid to some, but I have to really serious question. Does a narcissist intentionally manipulate, knowing fully and understanding what they're doing to the other party? Is it intentional? And if so, why is that they need, what is the need inside of them that causes them to do it?
It is
like a major question for this person. Like, this is like who or not question.
It's always situational. Like the manipulation, like it's always a goal in mind. Like I need to get something. And I don't feel like I can tell you the truth to get it. So I know I'm lying. I know I'm telling you some BS. I know I'm manipulating you. So yes, it's 100% intentional. Yeah, like because like I don't think like the truth. Like now I know like the truth will work sometimes, you know. Yeah. But in my old narcissistic brain, the truth doesn't work. Like I used to like tell lies for no reason. I'd be like to get off the phone with my son's mom. I'm like the police are behind me. Let me get off the phone. My wife was sitting there. I did that.
We've all done that. It doesn't make you a narcissist. It's just
I'm just saying, like it was just the unnecessary. It was just the unnecessary nature of it. My wife was like, "Why do you keep doing stuff like that?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like just telling little unnecessary lies. Like you just told her you call her back. I'm like she doesn't get that. You know, I have to do it this way, or she won't understand it. Right. This is before I diagnosed. This was years and years ago. Like this is before when she was starting to pick up on like the little signs and stuff like that. It's like you just be lying for no reason. Like why? I can't help it. Like it's just like fun. It's like
fun. Yeah, great. No, because I have my ex, and now apparently my son turns 23 next week, and I'm finding this is what he is. So that's what's like great. It's one thing to have, you know, an ex or be in a relationship and not be in it anymore, but it's really difficult when it becomes your own child, especially being a victim of it for so long. And now I have one in my home again.
Yeah, see, that's tough. I hate that.
Yeah. 2 more questions, and then we'll finish the Q&A. This one wants to know: do you believe the way you behave is normal, and that everyone else has the issue? We pretty much addressed that, but
yeah, I like talking in circles. So it's gonna sound like I'm talking in a circle, but like, what's the definition of normal? Because like my definition of normal, like when I was younger, before I was aware. Yeah, that was normal behavior. Like this is how I was raised. This is how I act. It's like this is how I survive. So yes, that's my definition of normal. But like in the English dictionary, the vernacular of normal living, no, it's not normal. You know. Right. But like in my brain, that's how I function. That's how I.
No, it's not normal.
Yeah.
But to you, it's normal.
Yeah, to me, it's normal. Like in my brain, that's normal. That's how I survive. That's how I got to this point. I'm like. This is the only way I can do it. Like I have to do it this way. It's this way or you know, I'll disintegrate.
Yeah. So the last 2, we pretty much answered this one. How did he become self-aware? We pretty much covered that. And this last one says, do you believe that recovery is possible for individuals who self-identify as a narcissist? If so, how can others be supportive of those that wish to progress into their journey of recovery?
I think what I think right now. Is because like when I got on TikTok, there was no other, you know, self-aware narcissists in there. But now it's like 4, 5, 6 people I see popping up here.
Oh, here we go. Everybody's biting here.
Yeah, I see it. I'm just like, where did they come from? Like,
your shit.
Are they really narcissists? They could be, you know, because nobody would want to be villainized and stuff like that. I mean, because I'm a villain to some people. I get it, you know what I mean? But like, I'm villainous, but.
Well, like you said in the dictionary or the medical references, there's no positive explanations.
Yeah.
NPD. It's all negative.
Yeah, it's literally all negative. So when you feel in a certain type of way and you see somebody like me out here just like living and like I got almost 300,000 followers on TikTok now. So like people like in narcissist brains like I'm better than him. You know, they think they better. Like so I know it. They think they better than me. So they're like. I'm better than him. I can get 300. Like he has 300,000 followers.
Now it's competition of the narcissist about being a narcissist.
And I'm gonna win, but you know.
You're on top. You were the first. You're the OG.
Yeah,
started it.
Yeah, I'm the OG self-aware narcissist on TikTok. But like people I think people see they think it's all benefits from me doing what I do, because they see me, they catch on now when I'm at 150, 200,000 followers. They didn't see when I was at 100 and 1,000,
Right.
when I was going live and people were coming there telling me to kill myself and die, and telling me, just taking that anger out on me. And I was just like, I'm like, they didn't see those, they don't see those parts right there. They just see like me going on CBS. They're like, he's on CBS, like I need to be on CBS. My story sounds just like his. Yeah. Like, so I'm appreciative of people coming out and being more honest with themselves. There's only one mental illness. That's me. But like they can be themselves. They can't explain it like I explained it. They can only explain it from their point of view. Right. Like I've seen one, two.
I think the way you explain is a very healthy way, but honest.
Yeah, I try to keep. Let's say it used to be a little bit more brash, but now I'm just like a little. I have to like. It's not like one of my. So I get back into the self-aware narcissist group. So now I'm like one of those groups. People's like I can verbalize stuff for people, and I can help people without being empathetic to them. So I can because I don't like when people like the trauma bond and stuff like that. My brain doesn't process it, like just leave, but I was like, I can't, like I get it from somebody else. I like why can't you just leave? I'm like, it's addictive. I've made people's like, how do I break the trauma? People ask me how to break the trauma bond. Like, I can't tell you how to break it. I can tell you how to instill it.
Right. No, you go call Chelsea Hearn, call Chelsea Lee.
I'm telling you, people ask me all the time how you break the trauma bond. Like, look, I can tell you how to put it in. Because like I do stuff like that, like what I can sit there and think about the stuff I used to do. I'm like, you wear the same cologne, you wear the same scent, you play the same songs over and over again, you play the same movies over and over again. So you say little inside jokes over and over again. So when if that person ever decides to leave you, they see this TV show, who are they gonna think about? Me. When they smell this scent, who are they gonna think about? When they hear these songs, when they like my favorite artist is Usher. When Usher comes on the radio, who is it gonna trigger you? Who are you triggered about? Me. So you trauma, like you hear Usher come on there, chasing moving mountains. You're like, oh, Lee.
I can never watch The Honeymooners ever again in my life.
Don't.
That was his favorite thing to watch after New Year's Eve, after we've gone out drinking, and then the whole New Year's Day, we're just hungover, and that's what we watched for 14 years. I'll never watch The fucking Honeymooners again.
You see,
There's a couple songs that I don't ever want, that I immediately change the radio, and I am 8 years out.
Yeah, but that's it's see, you're 8 years out and you're still feeling that. Like people think because when they leave, it's gonna be like instantaneous. It's not like
no.
Even on your side of the dynamic and my side of the dynamic, it's like it's not therapy is not a sprint to a cure. It's a marathon. You got to run this marathon the rest of your life. Are you willing to run this marathon? If not, go keep hurting people. Go keep being an asshole. Go keep perpetuating the stigmatism of narcissistic personality disorder. Go keep making what I do harder. Give me a reason to exist. But like you can choose. Like that's what, like you can't, like people message me all the time. Like even narcissists, people who've been diagnosed like I have, they're like, oh my God, I never heard people talk like this. I'm tired of hurting people. How do I stop? I'm like, by stopping.
Why not?
By literally, by figuring out why you do what you do. You have to figure out why. Like, why am I like this towards certain people? Why did it, like, because narcissists have triggers too. I don't think people don't think that, but narcissists trigger so many people that people don't realize that narcissists have triggers as well.
Like what? Like what?
Like
that's one I've never heard before.
So one of the things like that triggers me is when somebody brings up my dad. I immediately like want to attack them, like especially when we arguing.
That's a childhood, yeah.
If people like my childhood stuff, like if you like you say something like you just so much like your dad. I'm like, what did you say? So I'm immediately evil. It's just like I can't, like I'm working on that, but like it's immediately like whoop, evil. Let me see. Look, you want to hurt me? That's one of the things that hurts me the most. Like I'm going to hurt you.
And then you go for the jugulars.
I go for the literally. I'm trying to rip it out. I'm just like immediately. It's like no buffer.
I know how you guys work.
Yeah, it's immediately. There's no buffer. Like, how did you go from just this to this? I'm like, I was at some. I was like, I think because I'm so like I make people laugh and the way I talk and stuff like that is so easy to listen to. Mm-hmm. People like automatically assume I'm not a narcissist. Like, you can't be a narcissist. Like if y'all don't like,
I can tell, well, because I'm that informed.
Yeah.
I can tell by watching you, and that's how I knew. I'm like, no, this dude's a legit narcissist, but he's aware of it. And that's fantastic for all of these poor people that ask me all these millions of questions. I would love to have, like I said, I played one of your videos and I put in the title, From the Horse's Mouth.
Yeah.
Because it's not me telling them, it is an actual narcissist telling them, which
like I said, sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. It's like that's one thing that gets my nerves. Like I used to tell people, like, that's another one of my triggers. I used to give people the best advice, and when they didn't listen to it, I was like, well, whatever happens to you after this point, you deserve it. You're like, but what? Huh? Like, I told you that you deserve it. Like,
yeah.
Like, I can disconnect so easily. So I like when people message me, ask me questions, like, just disconnect like me. It's like, it's like, be more like me, just disconnect. But like, no, don't do that. Because I think just hearing from me, it's like, because I come from such a more logical standpoint, and other people can,
For sure.
you are in tune with your emotions, so you can just like, hey, I know how you feel right now. I don't know how you feel right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know why you feel that way, but like, let's use some transformative vocabulary to get you out of this mindset right here. Let's move forward.
Right.
So like I said, I want to do this life coaching thing here pretty soon, but like we'll see how it goes, because I have to, I can start it now because I see so many people doing it without any kind of certification, stuff like that. But
yeah, I was doing it, and then it turned into, I was fitness coaching. I was a Beachbody coach, which I still am, but I don't coach people. I just use the product and get the discount.
I did that.
It turned in, what happened was when I was in all those support groups, the Beachbody, the fitness groups, people that I was coaching, their problem wasn't exercise or nutrition. Their problem was here.
Yep.
They had a lot going on, which they'd be 3 days in, and I had to work with them with what's going on here. And so I went from being a fitness coach to like an MPD mentor.
Yeah.
I mentor people. I'm in one of the groups that they actually have a mentor program, and people can click and ask me to do one-on-one mentoring.
Yeah.
Which is why I decided to do this whole podcast, because instead of talking to one person at a time privately, when they all ask and say the same things, having this podcast just broadcast, and I can just refer them to it. And then, if they want to work more one-on-one, then they, we can get there.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing right there. Like I said, it's always good to do that. Like I said, that's what I want to get more into that type of stuff. Like, it's just like I got so much stuff going on, and like other people's problems weigh on me,
Yeah.
Because like,
I gotta tell you, and I said, yeah, but while I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that's really rare for a narcissist, that other people's problems weigh on you.
It's just like,
that shows some empathy.
It's just overwhelming. Like, because like, it's because like it weighs on me, because it's like another thing I have to kind of chop down on my goal. I just like, I had to chop this. Like, why do people keep? So
it weighs on you, not for empathy of the people. It weighs on you for the challenge of you.
I want people. Yeah, it's adds to my challenge. It's like, I was like, oh my goodness, but like,
now I gotta beat this.
Yeah, I want people to feel better, of course. Like, because I want people to feel better because I help them feel better too. I was like, well, the narcissist helped me. Like, it's weird to say that when you verbalize that, you say that phrase, like, well, it's crazy for me to say this, but the narcissist actually helped me heal. It's like, how many times have you heard that in your life? You just don't hear that too often.
Yeah, I think just maybe an hour before this, I opened Instagram to answer a message, and I saw one of your videos of another blonde woman saying, something clicked, and when she woke up the next day, and I think because she heard you, and you're like, yeah, because you said brought like life to her, and it took, which was fantastic. Like, again, it's fantastic for me to hear that a narcissist brought a victim to reality and decided to get her life straight, which is.
And I think people have got I think, like, on the empath side of things, people think I'm like a narc hater. Like, I'm the narcissist hunter. Like, I'm hunting down my own.
I don't think that.
But I get that a lot though. People like, you're just like spilling all the secrets. I bet other narcissists hate you. Like, I think I'm actually like kind of like in these groups, people like me. They're like,
I don't think a lot of narcissists want to do.
Some of them, like, God, some of them is so like, oh my goodness. Like, people ask me, how do you get a narcissist to change? You have to make them feel pain. Like, you can't. There's no amount of support and happiness you can show a narcissist. Like, hey, look, babe, just go to therapy. I'll be here for you, and like we'll just be better after this. Like, no, that's not gonna work. Like, why don't you be here for me without therapy? It's just,
Yeah.
immediately. But like you have to create pain in their brain. Like that's the only reason I went to therapy. I had so much pain. Like pain creates change. Like pain.
For some people.
Yeah, I was in pain. No, I had to change. Like so, well, I feel like when other narcissists hear my words, they if they feel it, they're like, oh my god, that's just like me. I get so you see my inbox, like it's just like me, man. How do I stop this? I've had people
I could imagine. I could imagine because of so many people in the support groups. I see how many people. First, I see how many there are, which I say is absolutely ludicrous in itself.
Yeah.
The amount of people in them that are all saying the same stuff. And then talking to my therapist, I hear like it's like 1 in every 5 people is a narcissist. So then I go through my track of my friends and my family. I'm like, oh, they are. But not everybody has the same level. Like my ex would never. He's an extreme narcissist. That's what we've gauged him off the checklist.
Those are the worst.
He's proud. He'll sit down at our 5th or 6th therapist and be like, hey, I'm a narcissist. So now what? And he would never.
How would a therapist deal with that though? What would the therapist say?
Well, a couple of them were short term.
Yeah.
They couldn't really get very far. And the last one we went to weekly for 10 months, 3 hours a week. Yeah, an hour drive, an hour appointment, hour drive back. And she was hot and she was younger. That's what kept him going. And he even one time said to me, on a session that I wasn't there, she asked him to walk him to the car because it was the late appointment. And then she told me on my last appointment, because Hurricane Sandy or Superstorm Sandy hit us at that time. So we were busy putting our house back together. And then he really checked out. And that's when I saw the true colors, when you have a natural disaster. But at my last appointment, she told me, she's like, he has been coming this whole time to talk to me and to make it seem like he's doing therapy. And she asked me, has he put in any practice at home? Like all of the tools and the fun games and the things that she teaches us to do at home? Never one, never. She goes, he just came to check the box to say he came and you're the problem. And that you need to fix. You have work to do to be to his level. That's where it ended. And
I say that's how my mindset was on the way to my first therapy session. I was like, well, check this box off, let her know I went. So I took a picture outside the therapist's office. I'm here, checked in on Facebook, like therapy,
And I get that question constantly with people. I even had a friend of mine call me from Florida and tell me, oh, he wants to go to therapy. And now that I broke up with him, I hear this all the time. As soon as you break up with them, they're all willing to go to therapy. But I tell them, they're not going to therapy to help themselves.
That's not for them.
Right.
Like, that's why, like, when you break up with somebody and they go to therapy, that's not for them. That's for you.
Yeah.
That's
in their mind.
Yeah, that's performative therapy. There's like, I'm here. I'm like, I went. Let's be together. I did it.
Check.
I survived. Here's my chip. Here's my therapy chip.
So all in all, therapy cannot fix a narcissist, but from your standpoint, it can help you with maintenance on your tone and how harsh you can come off, or teach you how to. I still
have my rage fits here and there, but they went down a tremendous amount. Like, you ask my wife, she's like, well, like, I was on the rage like one time in the last year, and that was just like, and I remember, and I told my therapist, I had a rage breakout, and she was just like, what happened?
What'd you do?
No, she didn't ask me what happened. She's like, what were you saying during the rage? I was like, nobody in this damn house listens to me. I'm just not appreciated or whatever. Nobody hears what I'm saying. Like, I can't get anything done. And like, she's like, I bet when you were screaming, everybody was listening, wasn't they? I'm like, yeah, they were. She's like, she said that's the issue right there. Like, communication is just tough for me. I don't like I don't, yeah, it's hard to trust anybody 100%, you know,
Yeah.
but my therapist, you know, she gets it.
You're in therapy, and before we started recording, you mentioned to me that you are getting into acting, or was into acting, but it helped you with narcissism.
Well, I've been an actor since 2000. It's been like since 2015, 2016. It's been a while.
Okay.
But I remember going to acting class, and you know, you're in film and stuff like that. So you know, my acting teacher, she was like, you're just not conveying the emotions like you need to. And I just told her straight up, like, I just don't like.
I don't have emotions.
Like my emotions don't click like they should. I mean, I just don't have normal reactions to emotions. And she just told me, she's like, you need to put yourself in moments where you were supposed to feel like this. You know, put yourself in moments where you're supposed to be sad. Like, I had to think about it. Like, when am I supposed to be sad? Like funerals. Oh, when you were supposed to be happy, childbirth. Oh, when were you supposed to be like feeling joy, like wedding? You know, just stuff like that. You know, so that helped. That helped with my emotional, you know, I guess, intelligence and whatnot. It's like I can be in these situations. Like I can do it on set. You know,
that's a hard thing for narcissists. That's a major symptom, that you cannot put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel that emotion. That's a huge.
Well, I'm an actor. I can do that now.
You learn how to act.
Yeah. So it's like, I can. I'm like, I can do this. You know, and I love acting. Like reading those scripts, connecting it to my own life and stuff like that. It just helps. Like with real life situations. Like
in real life situations, are you acting those emotions, or do you really feel them?
I think I think I really feel them. I think I have to get into an acting mode. You know, it's just like when I found out like my grandma died. I was like in a grocery store. Like somebody called me, was like, your grandma just died. And it was like, damn. I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And then my wife, she's like, what was that? I was like, I said, my damn grandma just died. She's like, oh my God. And I saw her face and I felt her face. I was like, she's sad right now. This is a moment I should be sad. So I kind of, you know, it's like
your grandma?
Yeah, my grandma. Anyway, I just started feeling. I had to start feeling it. I was just like, oh, you know, it just helps. Acting helps. You have to be, because in acting you have to be in the moment. You know, you can't fake it. So I'm like, okay, let me get in this real life moment right now. Let me get in the moment of life, and it helps. You know,
and I think that's fantastic. I don't know the word. I don't want to use fantastic. A part of it's fucked up because
yeah, but I can't
you
help
see your baby born and you go into acting mode.
It's like, yeah, I didn't cry when my kid was born. I just can't. I can't help it. I wish I could. Anyway, I was like, I should be like, you know, I was like, I'm happy.
And I get that, but not a lot of people get that because they haven't put in the work that you put in, and they haven't put in the work and the knowledge that I put in. So I get that, and I think it's funny because we're on different levels.
Yeah.
But for empaths and victims and survivors that hear this now, they're probably like, oh my God, my son's father just faked crying. Like,
yeah. And some, like I said, everybody's different though, because people have.
I know.
So not all narcissists have the same level of empathy and like emotional intelligence.
Or at all.
You know, yeah. Some of them are psychopaths. And they don't feel. You know.
Yeah, it's very narcissists have lack of empathy, but they do have some.
Yeah.
And what do you call them? Antisocial personality.
Those are the psychopaths.
They don't feel empathy at all. They don't give two flying shits.
Yeah. So that's what, like, in those self-aware narcissist groups that I was in like years ago, that's another reason I kind of left those groups, because like a bunch of people in there were antisocial, like the ASPD, and they would start inviting like just normal narcissists like myself to like these deeper, darker groups, and it was like scary. I was like, and scene, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, y'all like this? I'm like, I'm you know, I'm just in a group looking. I'm like, y'all crazy, you know. It's like, I have some stuff going on, but y'all are crazy, you know.
Okay, and that's good that you.
Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah. So this, I was like, what? I'm like, nah, time to go. Yeah, time to go. Let me go. Let me go on my little hobbit journey. It's different.
Well, I if you want to plug yourself, like people want to follow you, where can they follow you if they want to hear more of your explanations? I know you're on TikTok, but shout out your handles and
So if you're on TikTok, you can follow me at Mental Healness. That's HEALNESS. On TikTok, on Instagram is mental_healness. YouTube, I have a YouTube channel and a podcast called The Narcissist Code. It's podcast. You just may find me there. Email me at mentalhealness85@gmail.com. I'm a little bit of everywhere. Might be on CBS here pretty soon.
yeah. What about, I didn't know if you wanted to announce that or not. So you'll be on the doctors.
Yeah, on the doctors. I'm not sure when the episode's gonna be released. Might be next week, maybe the week after.
Yeah, let me know because I want to watch and record that.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon because like I think next week or the week after, something like that. But like I'm gonna be on the doctors talking about like my mental health journey and things like that, and on CBS, just like, and I think stuff like that will draw other narcissists out of the woodworks. Watch the self-aware movement come out of here. It's like
I feel like that's gonna get a little dangerous because then
I like being one of the only ones. It's just kind of like my little badge. I'm like, it's just me. I get to wear I get to put my little pin on in the morning if I leave. Like people come out the woodworks like self-aware.
I just feel like a big narc competition coming out. I'm like, oh
yeah, I don't want it to be that because people people will start to challenge people like that, and people a lot of people won't handle it correctly because they'll get challenged like this just sounds so normal, like you're not a narcissist, you're just so normal, and they'll go overboard and just tell some deep dark secret to incriminate themselves some hurtful thing they're hurt. It's just crazy. I've been there. I'm like, this you just sound so normal, like this doesn't sound like narcissism to me. I was like, what can I say? And I just want to say some evil stuff. I'm like, don't do it, Reel it back in, just don't say it. But yeah,
well, I'm looking forward. I'm definitely gonna watch it, and I follow you on everything now anyways. And it's last week when I went to my therapist and told her I was doing this interview with you.
Wow.
Like, you know what to ask him, right? And she's like, and who is he? And she brought up his phone and I told him, and she's like, oh, I'm already following him. So my cognitive behavioral therapist already follows you, which I think is great.
I get so many therapists and psychologists that follow me, which is crazy. And then I get the normal person to come on there like, you're not a narcissist. They're like, okay.
Well, what she told me was even what I'm doing is based off of pretty much everything she's taught me or books or references that I've read that she's directed me to. So anything I say and suggest and refer, it comes from a medical's perspective in a therapist's mouth. But she told me that there's a lot of therapists out there that don't believe, how do I explain? That say narcissism can be genetic. A lot of them don't believe that it's, I don't want to get into the church or something. Like some people think that
Jezebel spirit and all that other good stuff.
that it can be changed and that it's just a personality flaw and it's not abuse. And
so
that's why I try to refer people to cognitive behavioral therapists, because there's a reason why people like myself stick and deal with your bullshit for so long. And not you personally, but
I get it.
And I found out why. I was abandoned when I was a child. I never had a family. So I tried so hard to have that family. We had the house, the white picket fence, we had the kid, the dog. And it was more, I wanted the family more than I wanted the narc.
Yeah.
So it's important for people to find the proper therapist to find out, one, for narcissists, why they are who they are, and for victims, why they allow it, and why they get victimized so much.
The crazy thing about it is, though, I have like, sometimes I get narcissist coaches that reach out to me and therapists that reach out to me, like, and ask me, about narcissism. It'd be like, they're like, I cannot explain how this keeps happening to me. Therapists like literally would inbox me and say stuff like this. It's like, I am a therapist and I am in the worst narcissistic relationship of my life, and like I'm trauma bonded. They're like, what? It blows my mind because like they're human.
It blows my mind.
Yeah, I'm like, look, you're a human being. Like, I feel like because you get to a certain point in life, like you're a superstar narcissistic coach, you're narcissist abuse survivor and things like that. You feel like you know everything, And then somebody like me comes in there and just like, you don't expect it, and you get tricked, and you're like
manipulated.
yeah, you get manipulated.
If you're trained and licensed to identify that.
People are evolving though. Like people, like it's you see how educated you are about the subject and stuff like that. Narcissists like me, we read the same exact thing. You're like, but we don't read it. Like we don't read it because like we're trying to be better narcissists, hurt more people. We just like read it. And it's on my For You page. I'm like, what is this? You know, like, wait, I do that stuff. Like, is my wife gonna leave me because I do this type of stuff? Let me change a little bit. Let me stop doing that. Let me, you know, people see that type. Like, narcissists are seeing the same content that empaths are seeing, and they just take it and they just using it as a different way.
It's the way they perceive it. Yeah.
And they just using it a different way because like For You page, you know, I get a lot of like most of my content is like it's not like I have like I looked at my analytics the other day. It's like 88% women follow my TikTok. It's like 12% men. And
because generally
it went up though. It was like 4% men.
Well, because the men are probably the narcissists now watching you, and the women are.
it's just like going up. I was like, wait, because it was like 94% women and 6% men, and then it just started going up. Now it's like 12% men. I was like, okay, like men are watching this stuff too, and some of the men are like abuse survivors and stuff like that too. Though, you know, I mean, in most of my groups are like 80-20, you know, or 70-30. I mean, statistically, women are the victims. And, oh yeah. And I see that in my analytics. I'm like, goodness gracious.
If you listen to my very first interview I did with a guy, someone I mentored, one of the first people I mentored. He was a male, nice. But he was a veteran and he's a cop here in New York. And he was abused for a long time.
See? Yeah, it's what I'm saying.
That's why I did him as my first interview, because most of them are women. So we did it to let men know that it happens to men too.
It happens to the best of us. I had an inbox today from a girl, and she was like, she's like, she was smart. She was talking, her vernacular was good. She was just smart. I was like, damn, you smart, ain't you? She was like, well, I wasn't smart enough to avoid the narcissist. I'm like, why do you beat yourself up over that? Like, I feel like I was just stupid. I was just so stupid. Like, no, you wasn't stupid. Like, you were smart. You just like, it happens. Like, you know, you can't beat yourself up because like somebody, like, you're gonna get it's going to happen sometimes. You know what I mean? People slip through the cracks. It's like,
or just a manipulation or a love bomb. Sometimes you think is like a real thing, and it turns out to be a love bomb.
They don't check. They don't like you bring your narcissist checklist on the first date, and they don't check all the boxes. Like, well, he might not be a narcissist. Let me put it up, you know. And then he's a bit of narcissist. Like, wait, damn it, you know, I missed that.
I have two tells. If I go out on a date, there's two things I do. One is I yawn, because I was told if you yawn, I mean, it's not the old diagnosis.
That would annoy me. I don't know why. If you yawn on the first day, I'm like, am I boring you?
No, later. Like, I don't sit down at the table, order an app, and yawn.
Yeah.
Through the conversation, if it gets late, I'll yawn consciously just to see if they yawn, because I've been told that.
Oh, mimicry.
Yeah, like it's an empathy thing too. Like if I yawn, you should yawn, and it kind of tells you if they're an empath in any way. So it's one thing.
That's interesting.
And the other thing is, if I go out on a date and if I go 15 minutes and they haven't inquired a single thing about me, I'm out. And not because I want to talk about me, but if all you're going to do is sit there and talk about yourself and talk about yourself and talk about yourself on a date, that tells me you're a narcissist. So, and it might not even be true, but that's just my game. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I yawn, you don't yawn.
So like me on first dates, I'm super inquisitive. I won't even talk about me. I talk about you the whole time.
But that to me is also a manipulation thing.
Yeah, it is. It's 100%. Like I said, it's just like.
That's why I'm single.
I read that same stuff. Like,
yeah,
you have to act interested in them. Like, find out about them. So I don't talk about me. It's just like say that. Like, I'm reading Cosmo, learning this stuff. I'm just like,
well, dumb narcissists will sit there and talk about themselves.
Oh God, yeah.
Narcissists will manipulate you and want to know
that's
all
the
about you.
All narcissists is smart. Like, no. You get some idiot narcissists out here.
But regarding relationships and all that, just to tie this up with a bow, because I was convinced, and then 2 sessions ago, my therapist was like, you know, there are successful relationships with narcissists. And I was like, what? Who? She's like, half the world is a narcissist. but you just have to be that type of personality type. And she told me personally, I'm an alpha female. I'm very independent. I don't need your shit. I don't want your shit. I got my own shit. I just want your love and, to share my life. There are other people that are codependent and want to be the housewife and want to be taken care of. And that's when they get taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. So she told me, listen, there's codependent people that have a wonderful marriage with a narcissist because they complement what each other needs. Mm-hmm. So is that the kind of situation you have with your wife? Or is she like a big, smart alpha female, but knows how to handle it?
I wouldn't say she was alpha. So codependency, I think she has some codependency issues and things like that. But so do I, though. My therapist said I have codependency things going on as well. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing about her, like that helps us work, is the fact that she's like kind of learned to read my energy. Because that used to be the worst thing, because she would, like, that's when you get the worst rages, like when I'm in a bad mood and you need something and you ask it and you don't get the appropriate response. Like, I'd be tired from a long day at work and school and stuff like that. And she's like, well, can you do this? Like, why the hell you need, it's just like immediately. But like, so now if I see that, and like, she'll like, hey, keep it moving. She won't bug me for a little bit. And, like, you know what I mean? She'll let my energy.
Is she walking on eggshells?
No, I don't think she walking on eggshells anymore. Like, okay. I think she used to. I'm gonna do a video on it tomorrow. I'm
sure she did.
I was literally about to do a video today about eggshells. I'm gonna throw some eggshells on the floor and be crunching them. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. There were no cracked eggshells in the house today, so I was like, damn it. I can't but yeah, I would say she doesn't consider herself an empath either. But
okay.
I don't know. She's just like
I was just curious of her personality type, because I don't think a lot of people would tolerate having babies and a successful marriage.
Yeah.
I personally would never have that. It would never work in my world ever again. Never.
I think people see our relationship and think like she's like a pushover or something like that. But like, it's just more along the lines of my self-awareness and things like that help, because I don't I don't rage out as much anymore. Like, when if I'm in a bad mood and she asks something, like, I've done my own solo therapy. We also went through marriage counseling as well, Mm-hmm. And the only way, she's left me like 3 times, so the only way the therapist said that we will work is like, we can't try to fix the old marriage, because like, I done tore that thing to pieces, you know what I mean? We have to kind of start a new marriage, like, where you can't hold past don't forget it, but you can't hold that past transgression against,
right.
Transgression against the other person. And that has helped out a lot, because like, we'll get to an argument or something, like, we call it new mar, like new marriage is like new mar, that's old mar, this new mar.
Okay.
New mar.
That's a lot to control.
And I said, I have to practice like being affectionate, so like, because I'm not a very affectionate person, you know what I mean? But I'm love bombing, I can be super affectionate, but like, I have to practice being affectionate. So every morning I have to get up and like leave her a note on a little chalkboard, like the little dry erase board in the kitchen before I leave,
And that's practice. That's not just because you felt like you wanted to do that.
I have to do it every morning, because if I don't do it, it's part of my routine now. I made it part of my routine because I need her to feel good,
Okay.
Because like, I know people ask a question thinking, can narcissists be happy? I can be happy,
That was a question.
I think
they're super happy at times.
I can be happy. I experience happiness, but like, I think joy is what escapes me. I think joy, like pure happiness and contentment, is what escapes me. Mm-hmm. I can be happy. I have bursts of happiness. Like, being like, seeing her happy makes me happy. Like, yay, I did that.
You did that.
Yeah, it's me.
That's what makes you happy. Okay.
Yay, me.
I still got your number, and so
I did that,
I did that. I made it on. Yeah, I see that. I still see it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
I'm thankful. Like I said, I'm trying to work
anything, what you're doing is great. Helping people understand is great. I hope to help more people out myself. I think my next interview, my CBT therapist is going to be the next interview to answer more questions of stuff like this.
Yeah.
But I think you really summed up a lot of questions, and you're really good at just expressing the basics without the bullshit in between. And I'm totally grateful for that. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate it. I try to cut down the fluff as much, because like fluff makes people, get some warm and fuzzy. It makes them want to stay. You're like, well,
Yeah.
I can do that. You're like, can you? You know.
Well, it's kind of what attracted me to you, is like I'm a straight shooter myself, but I don't want to bullshit and float around. And this is just be real. Just how it is.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I have to keep it real though, because like I put myself out there so much that like people still try to find and nitpick me. They still try to find ways to I guess I get it, but like people like, I don't know, like people try to take me down. Why are you trying to take down the person that's helping people? Like, I get it. Like people try to gatekeep healing. Like he's not healing people like I heal them, so he shouldn't be allowed to do that. I'm like,
Try to date who?
Like, huh?
Try to date.
They try to gatekeep healing.
Oh.
Like how people heal. There's like he doesn't do it how I do it, so
it must be wrong.
Yeah, so it must be wrong, But like, if you try to stop somebody that's helping people, are you a really good person? Like, like he's helping hundreds and thousands of people. Like, I'm gonna put an end to that.
And in the climate we're in right now, everybody needs help. Everybody needs a lifted hand, some compassion.
Yeah, that's the goal. I can't do the compassion too much, but like
no, you can't, but I can.
I can still help.
I can make up for what you.
Yeah. See, that's why it's a symbiotic relationship.
Well, definitely keep me posted. When CBS, when the Doctors is airing, I'm definitely gonna DVR that one if I'm not home.
I'll blast it everywhere.
I'm sure.
I'll be
and I'll send you a copy of this.
Okay, perfect. Like I said, that's great.
Throw it on your YouTube. You're more than welcome to. You store it away. You throw it in the garbage, whatever you want.
I'll definitely put it on YouTube with like some good questions and answers. I know people like asking, like, because on my YouTube videos, I tend to focus on one thing and try and go into detail on that. So I feel like
which is good though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do with this podcast. That's why I just did red flags. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get in that rant, and especially when I'm talking about myself. Yeah. I just go on and on, but I'm like, Chelsea, just one thing, and do another thing on eggshells and do another thing on love bombing.
Yeah, that's good though. Like I said, keep fighting the good fight, because like I said, what the hell is that? Oh, sorry.
That's good. That's fine. Yeah. But I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's been a pleasure to speak to the narcissist.
See?
I've never said that. I've never thought I'd ever hear myself say that. It's probably been the most productive conversation that I've ever had with a narcissist. It's fantastic.
Yay. See?
Yay. So I greatly appreciate it. And maybe we'll have you back in the future.
Thank you. Just let me know. Like I say, I'm always down to spread the message. All right.
Yep. You have a good one.
You as well. All right. Thank you.
All right. Stay well. All right. Bye-bye.